They rob you blind and you thank them for it. That's a tragedy. That's a scam. That's why I'm saying this right now. Americans, you don't need a tariff. You need a revolution. For decades, your government and oligarchs only ship your job to China, not for diplomacy, not for peace, but to exploit cheap laborers. And in the process, they hollowed out your middle class, crushed your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit. And yes, China made money, but we used it to build roads, lift millions out of poverty, fund healthcare, raise living standard. We reinvested in our people. My family also benefited from it. What did your oligarchs do? They bought yachts, private jets, and mansions with golf course driveways. They manipulate the market, dodge tax, and poured billions into endless wars. And you get stagnated wages, crippling healthcare cost, cheap dopamine, debt, and flagged wave poverty made in China while they pick your pocket. For 40 years, both China and the United States benefit from the trade, the manufacturing, but only one of us use that wealth to build. This isn't China's fault. This is yours. You let this happen. You let the oligarchs feed you lies while they made you fat, poor, and addicted. Now they blame China for mess they made. I don't think so. I don't think you need another tariff. You need to wake up. You need to take your country back. I think you need a revolution.
Giving our praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem HaChachodash, double honors to our apostles and elders, Harry Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. Now, everything that what seems to be a Moabite said was absolutely true. However, the people who, like the man who tweeted this or retweeted this, what looks to be like an Edomite, he was quoting him, but at the end here, he says, I agree with everything he says. I don't blame China. I blame our corrupt government for allowing it to happen, for designing it to happen so that they could get rich. President Trump is throwing a wrench into their plans. He's saving our country. I hope it isn't too late. So you see, this guy is still under the belief that Donald Trump is a hero. He's under the impression that the Doge and everything that's on Trump's team, that he's trying to fix things. He's still under the illusion, and I assume because if he's an Edomite, it's because he doesn't want to come to terms with the fact that his country and his empire is coming to an end, is that everything that Donald Trump is doing is to counteract everything that was done over 40 years, that Donald Trump is here to fix the problem. Just know this, okay? If you're in this truth, just know that there are no heroes in this thing. The wicked elite are just wicked. Esau Edom is just that. He's wicked. The scripture says that his heart is not upright in him. He can never be satisfied. He wants more and more and more. He will be considered as a child that's in rulership, as the scripture will say. The wicked that's in rulership, meaning everything that you think should happen won't happen. If the clear, obvious answer to solve any issue that happens in the Babylon, it won't happen simply for the fact that it's a Babylon. Babylon literally means confused land. Everything's backwards. The simple solution to fix the issue or the answer, it will not happen. That's why this place is called Babylon the Great. And instead, the wicked elite, the 1%, the greed and the covetous will continue to grow. They will continue to take more and more and more. And they will do what they can to eliminate what they will call the middle class. So there can only be two sets of people, the super filthy rich and the poor. Just like those tariffs are actually shutting down a lot of businesses, small business owners, because everything they're getting for the most part is overseas, because America's just an import country. How did we get here? Because of greed. They'll ship, Esau Edom will ship his manufacturing and his labor 15 minutes across the line to Mexico, just so he won't have to pay tax and pay the people in Mexico cheaper. So take the work from you, pay them, and then ship it to America and sell it to you 2 times the price. Because they'll tell you the reason we're doing a cheaper labor, that means it'll be cheaper for you to sell in America. No, they'll still sell it for you for double the price. Why? So that they could receive double profit. And they've been doing that since the 50s. That's why all the factories and things like that shut down. So then they got to a point where what? Now America's basically become an importer country. So now Babylon is solely dependent on the materials and whatnot of others. So she basically she put herself in a compromised position. And this is the result of greed. This is the result of a wicked ruler, right? But just know this, there are no heroes in this thing. It does not matter the Democrat. It does not matter if they are Republican. They're all working towards the same goal. They only care about themselves. Donald Trump does not care about the middle class. Name me one bill he's passed since he's been in office to make the rich pay more on the taxes. He's fighting not to pay any taxes like they all are. And there's a video out there, I believe it's called 10 Ways. What's the man name? Noam Chomsky? Noam, Noam. We all know who he is if you've seen him. I think he did a video called the 10 Ways that the rich shifted the bulk of taxes to the poor, and he breaks it down. This has been in the making for years. They've strategically shifted the burden of paying taxes over to the poor. Add the tariff war and the trade war on top of that, that's going to tank the middle class. The people who's barely staying afloat to so-called live the American dream, they're going under. Doesn't affect the wicked, filthy, rich elite because they can pay that cost and still increase the cost on y'all asses. But yet you still have Edomites who want to believe that Trump is trying to undo what was done and that he's coming to change things. And a lot of them are doing it simply because they have nothing else. Trump to them is like the last hurrah. If Trump can't fix it, then they know that it's over for this place. A lot of them are deceived, but don't you be deceived. There are no heroes in this thing. I don't care if anybody stands up who calls himself opposing Israel or calls himself opposing Trump and all that. If they just go mainstream out of nowhere, they're like Candace Owens. She's set up. She's married to an Amalekite. She get her instructions as well. And right now they got through using her. When they want to use it again, she's gonna hit the forefront again. There are no heroes in this thing. Just puppets, manipulators, deceivers to distract the people as they continue to get closer and closer to what they will call supreme authority. Because the scripture says that they've given their power to the beast. So there's no one opposing the beast until they learn to hate the beast, to hate this whore. Ezekiel 38 talks about how Russia, which is Magog, and how their alliance with Ethiopia, Libya, and Turkey, how that's forming to oppose Babylon the Great, Babylon the whore. What's still prophetic is that Turkey is going to end up leaving the NATO to join Russia, aka the BRICS nations. That's what we believe is going to happen according to prophecy. To Gomar joining in with the fight. But right now Turkey's aligned with NATO, so it will have to be a splitting up of that. But all of these countries, they're learning to hate the whore because of her dealings. But don't think anybody is here to save the day. Okay, these Americans want to believe that somebody is standing up to save the day. Somebody sees the corruption and they're trying to overturn it and they're trying to fix and right the wrongs. There are no heroes. Just puppets, manipulators, deceivers, and especially they won't be a no damn Edomite. So while these guys are talking back and forth and Trump and He's trying to fix this, and Elon Musk trying to do that, and the conspiracy. Every now and then they'll talk about Trump's trying to release footage and details regarding the death of is it JFK? All those things, and you see people making videos. Oh, why they trying to hide stuff? See Trump trying to bring all this out. He trying to like making you think like he's really doing something. And there are no heroes. The only hero is Yahweh Shai and the elect. The elect, we're heroes. Lord willing, part of the number. We're also heroes in a sense. We're also heroes in a way. But Revelation 13. Verse 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. As we always say, those two horns like a lamb, that's your left and your right. Left wing, right wing, Republicans, Democrats. So they refer to people, oh, he's a far right, or he's a far left. And these people literally, even these red pills, they literally say, oh, you got the far left, and the liberals and these people and that, they're deceived. They don't get it that they're two sides of the same beast, two hot sides of the same coin, two wings of the same bird. And it says they what spake, and that goes back to the Roman Empire, which they had the plebeians and the patricians. And it said what is like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So the appearance is docile. The appearance is like a lamb. The appearance is these people, these men here are literally here trying to help. They're trying to fix the wrong. It's just the left and the right. No, what you're going to find out is that they're all being deceived. That's the power of the beast. They're both controlled by the same power. It's just a deception tactic. You got people who giving their lives to Democrats and political parties to get things changed, and yet we're still here. And you ain't changing nothing. You changed nothing. Even if you worry about your mayors and who's going to be the new mayor this and the new mayor that, end of the day, they're not going to do anything that the wicked elite ultimately don't want them to do. Whatever state or county isn't going to overthrow or do anything that they get orders to. Don't matter who's in office. The whole political game is just a big game. And those men and women in there are only in there for their own gain. And they're all about placing blame. That's what it's all about. Arguments of people back and forth is about placing blame on the Republicans and the Democrats and the liberals and the far right and the alt left. You see, we don't talk about that up in here in the truth because we understand what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the beast, his image, and he will implement his mark. The two horns like a lamb are just deceivers. That's it. Whenever Trump get questioned, or wait a minute, Trump, you lied. You said grocery prices will go down. Yeah, well, you could blame the Democrats and Biden. It's their work. It's their fault. The next thing you know, oh, he's right, guys. When you go back to the Biden administration, it was the Democrats that implemented this and that. And just like that, he successfully deflected the question and deterred everybody's attention and anger towards what? The Democrats or the Biden. As he continues to move forward, the prices aren't going down. You just got deceived up until that point to cast your vote in for him, which it didn't matter anyway. And then now you placing the blame. You're just being played with. You're a toy to those who aren't in the know. But it said what? And he spake as a dragon. So at the end of the day, he's going to breathe out fire through his nostrils. And you're going to see his horns because he's still going to pass what it is that he plans on passing. He just needs to deceive you up until the point where they implement the mark. That's what this is all about. Like I said Tom Ford, but it's really Henry Ford. He's the one that said, like the apostle quoted, that if people actually understood a monetary system, the next day it would be a revolution. So they have to complicate the talk of economists and economy. They have to complicate and make it complicated. So when most people try to go and learn it, they just give up on asking questions. People have to be deceived to the point, up and to the point at what they implement the mark. Because if they didn't use the power of deception, then they wouldn't have any power. Their power is the deception. And people would overthrow, you could say, the system or whatnot to get things back in order and understand, like, wait a minute, you're just a puppet. We don't believe nothing you say. But they have to use the power of deception. There are no heroes in this thing. There was a time back then where you had Andrew Tate and he was going on Piers Morgan. Like I said, you had Candace Owens. You had all these people who looked like they were standing up for what's right. All puppets. Because what does it change? Changing nothing. They get their paycheck. They go up there, show opposition, so they're in opposition with whatnot. And nothing changed. Those bombs are still being dropped on the Palestinians every day. And verse 12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So that's the power that America is using, the power of deception and the power of the fourth beast to cause people to fall in line and to comply. All the while they're robbing from you and they're stealing from you, because eventually they're going to set up to what? The mark. Back when the pandemic happened, Trump just kept blaming China. So all this back and forth with China this, your China fault. Guess what? Didn't stop the lockdowns. And they're still in agreement with China. So it's just what they do. It's just part of the game. See? Revelation 17. Verse 12, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So at the end of the day, they've given their power to the beast. But eventually they're going to what? Be deceived, and then they're going to shoot fire on this place. That's why it says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Why is that? Because they're going to be deceived, and then once they realize they've been deceived, then they're going to pull out the swords, which is shoot those missiles. Verse 17, for Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. So you see, the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. So you have to understand what prophecy is. He's going to set up this microchip. He's going to set up a society where everything's monitored and controlled. Nothing's going to change that. Nobody's going to stand up and bully Trump out of the office and say, now it's time to do things the right way. Let's get these deals in order. Let's undo the CBI, central banking, the digital currency. Let's undo that. Let's let's get things back in order. Nobody's going to do that. Why? Because it's not the will of Yahweh Yahushua. Anybody that stands up that so-called is trying to do things right or say they are, they're just deceivers. They're liars. They're puppets handpicked to get you to keep distracting you, man. You know what I'm saying? So these American people, they're deceived. They're deceived into believing that Trump is there to help. But we're not deceived, man. There are no heroes in this thing. The only heroes are the man out there teaching 100% truth. And the ultimate hero is going to be Yahushua. Shalom.